To listen to Democratic leaders and to the coverage in much of the media, you might have thought that a deal was all done yesterday until John McCain came to town and blew the whole thing up with the help of House Republicans. But is that really what happened? Chief Washington correspondent Jim Angle reports.
No sooner had John McCain announced he was coming back to Washington to work on a bailout than Democrats started saying no need. They were getting close to a deal without him.
I was pretty confident we were close to getting a deal until they decided to airdrop John McCain into this.
The next morning, House Republican leader John Boehner issued a statement just before 11 a.m. saying House Republicans had not agreed to any deal. As I told our conference this morning, he wrote, there is no bipartisan deal at this time. There may be a deal among some Democrats, but House Republicans are not a part of it. Nevertheless, a short time later, Democratic negotiators were once again proclaiming a deal was all but done.
We've reached a fundamental agreement on a set of principles.
In fact, Barney Frank suggested there wasn't even enough disagreement to require a meeting later in the day at the White House.
Yes, we are on track, I believe, to pass this. The market should be calmed down. I'm glad that we'll be able to go and tell them that there really isn't that much of a deadlock to break, but I'm always glad to get to go to the White House.
Prompting Boehner to issue another statement at 2:16 saying there was some progress, but emphasizing House Republicans have not agreed to any plan at this point. So by the time John McCain and Barack Obama arrived at the White House at 3:44, it should have been clear to all that House Republicans had not embraced anything. Senator Richard Shelby, the first person to leave that White House meeting, told Fox today the idea a deal had been struck was a fantasy.
Some people reached a deal among themselves, but they forgot about apparently several hundred House members and probably several dozen senators.
And John Boehner says he repeatedly told House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and everyone else about the objections, so no one should have been surprised. And he argues that all the talk of a deal was simply intended to make it look like a deal had been done before John McCain arrived.
We saw this uptick in the Banking Committee chairman on the House side and the Senate side, both Democrats, in this rush to kind of get some deal.
An effort he charges to avoid any appearance that McCain's efforts were helpful. In fact, after the White House meeting, Democrats went even further, blaming McCain for the failure to reach a deal.
The insertion of presidential politics has not been helpful. It's been harmful.
We need the president to respectfully tell Senator McCain to get out of town. He is not helping. He is harming.
And Republicans are saying there was good reason to be skeptical about the deal, as they noted Democrats had buried what amounts to an earmark in the payback from the bailout.
20% of the money that should go to retired debt that will be created to solve this problem winds up in a housing organization called ACORN that is an absolute ill-run enterprise.
ACORN is a long-time advocacy group with whom Obama was once associated. Recently, though, ACORN workers in 2 states have pleaded guilty to election fraud, an unlikely recipient of federal largesse.